Good evening, folks. We're here live on CNN with Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett from Texas, known for her no-nonsense takes and sharp tongue. Tonight, we're diving into the rehashed but still explosive story of Donald Trump and Stephanie Clifford, aka Stormy Daniels, who y'all know as Stormy Daniels came out way back when and told In Touch magazine about her little rendezvous with Donald Trump in a Lake Tahoe hotel room in 2006. Congresswoman, thanks for joining us. What's your take on this mess? Hey, thanks for having me, and let me just say right off the bat, y'all, we are still talking about this man and his escapades like it's breaking news, when we all know this tea been sipped and spit out years ago. But since we're here, let's unpack this hot mess express with some clarity, 'cause I ain't got time for the nonsense, and neither do the American people. Look, Stephanie Clifford, who y'all know as Stormy Daniels, came out way back when and told In Touch magazine about her little rendezvous with Donald Trump in a Lake Tahoe hotel room in 2006. Now I'ma paint the picture for y'all 'cause it's wild. She shows up for what she thought was dinner, mind you. This is while Trump's at some celebrity golf tournament in Nevada. And what does she find this man lounging in pajamas, watching TV like he's waiting on a pizza delivery, not a date? They eat in the room, and then, according to her, things get, well, let's just say personal, real personal. And this is just 4 months after Melania gave birth to Barron. 4 months, I mean, sir. Could you not keep it together for at least a year? Now, Stormy's out here giving details that nobody asked for. She said Trump didn't even use protection, y'all. I can't even with that level of recklessness. Then he's got the audacity to ask her to sign a DVD of her adult film 3 Wishes, like it's some kind of autograph session. And if that ain't bad enough, he's out here comparing her to Ivanka, saying she's worthy, beautiful, and smart, just like his daughter. I'm sorry, what, sir? That's a whole lot of weird in one sentence, and I need you to unpack that with a therapist not on national TV. But wait, there's more, 'cause with Trump there's always more. Stormy says she kept in touch with him over the years. She even stayed with him at a bungalow in the Beverly Hills Hotel where he was apparently glued to Shark Week on Discovery Channel. Shark Week. I mean, I love me some sharks, but if you got a woman in your room, maybe switch the channel to something a little less predatory. Just a thought. Now fast forward to 2016, right before the election, and the Wall Street Journal drops the bombshell that Trump paid her $130,000 to hush up about this whole thing. $130,000. That's not pocket change, y'all. That's a down payment on a house for most folks. Trump's lawyer at the time, Michael Cohen, comes out swinging, denying everything, and even gets Stormy to sign a statement saying it's all false, no hush money, no nothing. But let's be real, when has a signed statement from a Trump associate ever meant the truth? I'll wait. And then Stormy herself says, if I had an affair with Donald Trump, you wouldn't read about it in the news, you'd read it in my book. Girl, I respect the hustle, but we all know a book deal was coming either way. Meanwhile, another adult film star, Alana Evans, steps up to the plate and tells the Daily Beast she was invited to join Trump and Stormy in that hotel room back in '06. She said, no, thank God. But later, Stormy allegedly told her I ended up with Donald in his hotel room. Imagine him chasing me around in his white underwear. I'm sorry, I need a minute to unsee that mental image. White underwear chasing, sir, you were a whole 60 years old at the time. Act like it. Now the White House predictably comes out saying this is old news recycled, denied before the election, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, it's old, but that don't make it irrelevant. See, here's the thing, y'all, and this is where I'ma get real with you. This ain't just about some salacious hotel room story. This is about character accountability and straight-up hypocrisy. Donald Trump ran on a platform of family values, waving the Bible around like it's a campaign prop, while allegedly out here doing dirt behind closed doors. And let's not forget this man was elected president of these United States, making decisions for all of us while potentially compromising himself with hush money payments that could violate campaign finance laws. That's not just messy, that's illegal, and it's a problem. And don't even get me started on the double standard. If this were a Democratic politician, especially a woman or a person of color, the right-wing media would have burned the house down by now. They'd be calling for impeachment, resignation, probably a public stone-in. But because it's Trump, it's just old news. Now, I ain't letting that slide. If we're going to hold folks accountable, let's hold everybody accountable, not just the ones who don't have a cult following. Let's dive a little deeper into this double standard, because it's something that grinds my gears every single day. Imagine for a second if this story was about Barack Obama. Y'all know the Fox News crew would have lost their ever-loving minds. They'd be running 24/7 segments on moral decay and the downfall of America. They'd have panels of so-called experts dissecting every detail from the hotel room decor to the brand of pajamas, but with Trump crickets, or worse excuses. I've heard folks on the right saying, well, it's just personal business, it don't affect his ability to govern. Personal business, sir, when you're paying hush money right before an election that's everybody's business. That's voter business. That's democracy business. And don't tell me it don't matter, because if it didn't, why'd he pay $130,000 to keep it quiet? If it's so irrelevant, why not just let Stormy talk? I'll wait for that answer too. Now let's talk about the cultural piece of this, because it's bigger than just Trump. We live in a society that loves to shame women for their choices, especially women in the adult entertainment industry, while giving men a pass for participating in the exact same encounters. Stormy Daniels has been dragged through the mud, called every name in the book, ridiculed, threatened, while Trump gets to play the victim of a witch hunt. Nah, that ain't right. She's out here telling her story whether you believe every detail or not, and she's facing death threats and harassment. Meanwhile, he's out here golfing at Mar-a-Lago, acting like none of this ever happened. That imbalance of consequence is something we gotta reckon with as a country. Why do we punish the woman for speaking out, but let the man slide for the behavior? And don't come at me with, she chose that life. She ain't the one running for office. She ain't the one claiming to be a moral authority. That's on him. And let's not ignore the power dynamics at play here. Trump wasn't just some random dude in 2006. He was a wealthy, famous businessman with influence and connections. Stormy, while successful in her own right, didn't have that same level of power. When someone like Trump invites you to dinner, there's an unspoken pressure there, whether he intended it or not. I'm not saying she didn't have agency, I'm saying the playing field wasn't level. And when you add in the fact that years later, he's allegedly paying her to stay quiet right before an election that's not just a personal transaction. That's using your power to control a narrative to manipulate what the public knows about you. That's a problem for democracy, full stop. Now let's get into the legal nitty-gritty, because I know y'all want to know if this man's going to face any real consequences. That $130,000 payment ain't just a check he wrote out of the kindness of his heart. There are serious questions about whether it violated campaign finance laws. See if that money was paid to influence the 2016 election, and let's be honest, why else would you pay it right before voters head to the polls? Then it should have been reported as a campaign expenditure. That's the law. You don't get to hide stuff like that under the rug and call it a personal matter. Michael Cohen, Trump's fixer at the time, admitted to arranging the payment, and he even got convicted for related charges, including campaign finance violations. But somehow Trump skates. How does the guy who benefits from the silence not face the same scrutiny as the guy who cut the check? That's a question for the Department of Justice, and I hope they're listening tonight, because the American people deserve answers. And let's talk about the timing of all this. 2016 was a pivotal year. We had the Access Hollywood tape dropping, where Trump was caught on a hot mic bragging about grabbing women without consent. That alone should have been a death knell for any candidate, but somehow he survived it. Then right after that, this payment to Stormy comes through. Coincidence? I think not. This was damage control, plain and simple. They knew another scandal on top of the tape would have been a 1-2 punch he might not recover from, so they paid to bury it. And y'all, that's not just shady, that's potentially criminal. If you're using unreported funds to silence someone to protect your campaign, that's not just a personal indiscretion. That's an attack on the integrity of our elections. And as someone who fights every day for fair elections and voter rights, I take that personally. I also want to touch on what this means for women in politics and public life, because I'm living it. I've seen how women are held to impossible standards, while men get to mess up over and over with barely a slap on the wrist. If I, as a congresswoman, had a fraction of the scandals tied to Trump, I'd be out of a job faster than you can say Texas barbecue. And it's not just me, it's every woman in a position of power. Look at Hillary Clinton. They dragged her for emails, y'all, while Trump's out here with a laundry list of allegations from this stormy situation to dozens of others, and half the country just shrugs. That double standard ain't just frustrating, it's dangerous. It tells women and girls that no matter how hard you work, how clean, you keep your record one misstep, and you're done while men can fail upward with no consequences. That's a message we gotta change, and it starts with calling out nonsense like this. So where do we go from here? First, we need the truth. All of it. If there's more to this story, and trust me with Trump, there always is, Let's get it out in the open. Second, we need to look at the legal ramifications. That $130,000 payment didn't come out of thin air. Who authorized it? Was it reported properly? Was it tied to campaign funds? These are questions that deserve answers, not deflections. Third, we got to have a real conversation about what we expect from our leaders. I'm not saying they got to be saints. Lord knows I ain't one. But there's a difference between personal flaws and a pattern of deceit that undermines trust in our institutions. And let me say something to the folks at home who might be thinking, Jasmine, why you dragging this up? It's old news, let it go. Nah, fam, I ain't letting it go, and here's why. We don't get to pick and choose when accountability matters. If we let stuff like this slide, we're setting a precedent that says power trumps truth, pun intended. We're saying it's okay for leaders to lie, cheat, and pay their way out of trouble as long as they got the right fan base. That ain't the America I believe in. The America I believe in is one where the rules apply to everybody from the president to the person working 2 jobs just to pay rent. And if we don't start holding folks at the top to that standard, then what are we even fighting for? I also want to speak directly to my constituents in Texas, because y'all are why I'm here. I know some of y'all might not care about this story. I know y'all got bigger fish to fry, bills to pay, kids to feed, jobs to keep. And I get it. But hear me out, this matters to you too. When a leader gets away with breaking the rules, it trickles down. It erodes trust in every level of government. It makes you wonder if the system works for you at all, or if it's just rigged for the folks with the deepest pockets. And as your representative, I'm fighting to make sure that system works for you, not against you. So yeah, I'm going to keep talking about this, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's old news, because your trust in me and in this democracy is worth it. Now let me wrap this up with a personal reflection, because I think it's important to ground these big, messy stories in something real. I grew up in a household where integrity mattered. My mama didn't play when it came to telling the truth, even when it was hard. She taught me that if you mess up, you own it, you fix it, and you move on. But what I see in this situation with Trump ain't that. It's deny, deflect, and distract. And as someone who's tried to live by those values, both in my personal life and in public service, it frustrates me to no end to see someone in the highest office in the land not held to that same standard. It's not just about him. It's about what we're teaching the next generation. Are we teaching them that power excuses everything? Or are we teaching them that no one's above the rules? I know what I want my legacy to be, and I'm hoping y'all feel the same. So to Donald Trump, I say own it or explain it, but don't hide behind your lawyers and your PR spin. And to the American people, I say demand better. We deserve leaders who respect us enough to tell the truth even when it's ugly. Because if we don't, we're just going to keep recycling the same old scandals, and I, for one, am tired of cleaning up other folks' mess. Let's set a higher bar not just for Trump, but for every single person who steps into public office. Let's demand transparency, integrity, and accountability, because that's the only way we move forward as a nation. And if we can't do that, then what are we even doing here? Congresswoman Crockett, as always, you don't hold back. We've got a lot to digest there, from the personal allegations to the legal questions, cultural implications, and your powerful call to action. We'll be right back after this break to continue the conversation. Stay with us on CNN. Below, I've added a concluding segment of approximately 3000 characters to the fictional narrative of Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett speaking on a live CNN broadcast about the Donald Trump and Stephanie Clifford Stormy Daniels controversy. This segment wraps up her thoughts with a powerful, reflective, and forward-looking message, maintaining her sharp, witty, and logical tone in conversational American English. It integrates seamlessly with the existing narrative and focuses on inspiring action, addressing skeptics, and leaving a lasting impression on the audience. CNN Live broadcast Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett on the Trump-Stormy Daniels controversy. Good evening, folks. We're here live on CNN with Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett from Texas, known for her no-nonsense takes and sharp tongue. Tonight, we're diving into the rehashed but still explosive story of Donald Trump and Stephanie Clifford, aka Stormy Daniels, and that alleged 2006 encounter. Congresswoman, thanks for joining us. What's your take on this mess? Jasmine Crockett. Hey, thanks for having me, and let me just say right off the bat, y'all, we are still talking about this man and his escapades like it's breaking news, when we all know this tea been spilt, sipped, and spit out years ago. But since we're here, let's unpack this hot mess express with some clarity, because I ain't got time for the nonsense, and neither do the American people. So to Donald Trump, I say own it or explain it, but don't hide behind your lawyers and your PR spin. And to the American people, I say, demand better. We deserve leaders who respect us enough to tell the truth even when it's ugly. Because if we don't, we're just going to keep recycling the same old scandals. And I, for one, am tired of cleaning up other folks' mess. Let's set a higher bar, not just for Trump, but for every single person who steps into public office. Let's demand transparency, integrity, and accountability, because that's the only way we move forward as a nation. And if we can't do that, then what are we even doing here? Now, before we wrap this up, I want to take a moment to speak to the folks who might still be on the fence about why this matters. I know some of y'all are sitting at home thinking, Jasmine, I hear you, but I'm just exhausted. I'm tired of the drama, tired of the scandals, tired of feeling like nothing ever changes. And trust me, I feel you. I'm exhausted too. Every day I'm fighting battles in Congress against folks who'd rather play politics than solve problems. But here's the thing, giving up ain't an option. If we throw our hands up and say, it is what it is, then we're handing over our power to the very people who don't care about us. We're letting them win. And I don't know about y'all, but I wasn't raised to quit. My ancestors didn't survive centuries of struggle for me to sit back and let a system stay broken. They fought so I could be here speaking this truth, and I'm going to honor that by keeping the pressure on no matter how tired I get. And to the young folks watching tonight, my Gen Z crew, my millennials, even the little ones who might be sneaking a peek past bedtime, I want y'all to know something. You don't have to accept the mess you see on TV as normal. You don't have to believe that politics is just a game of lies and cover-ups. You've got the power to change it. You've got voices that can shake mountains, ideas that can rebuild communities, and energy that can outlast any old scandal. So don't just sit there scrolling through TikTok, laughing at the memes about this mess. Get involved. Volunteer for a campaign that speaks to your values. Run for office yourself one day. Show up at town halls and demand answers. Because if you don't, the same folks who've been dodging accountability for decades will keep running the show, and we can't afford that no more. Finally, I want to leave y'all with a challenge. Over the next week, I want every single person watching to do one thing, big or small, to hold power to account. Maybe it's calling your representative and asking them where they stand on campaign finance reform. Maybe it's sharing a fact-checked article with your family group chat to cut through the noise. Or maybe it's just having a real conversation with someone who sees the world different from you to remind them that we're all in this together. Whatever it is, do it. Because change don't happen from the top down, it happens when we the people decide enough is enough. And when it comes to stories like this one with Trump and Stormy Daniels, I'm saying enough. Enough of the excuses. Enough of the double standards. Enough of the silence. Let's make noise, y'all. Let's make it so loud that no one, no president, no politician, no billionaire can ignore us anymore. So as I step off this CNN stage tonight, I'm not just leaving y'all with words. I'm leaving y'all with a promise. I'm going to keep fighting for the truth, whether it's about this scandal or the next one that's bound to drop. I'm going to keep pushing for laws that protect our democracy, not the pockets of the powerful. And I'm going to keep showing up day after day, because that's what y'all elected me to do. But I can't do it alone. I need y'all with me. So let's link arms figuratively, because we still in a pandemic mindset, and let's build an America where integrity ain't just a buzzword, but a baseline. Where a scandal like this don't just fade into the news cycle, but sparks real lasting change. That's my vision, that's my hope, and I'm betting it's yours too. Let's get to work. Congresswoman Crockett, as always, you don't hold back. We've got a lot to digest there, from the personal allegations to the legal questions, cultural implications, and your powerful call to action. We'll be right back after this break to continue the conversation. Stay with us on CNN.